First of all, I would like to request all of you to cultivate a bodhicitta intention or a positive intention while you are in this session. Okay, so today we are going to start. Our topic is about the universal truth of Buddhism. Okay, so the foundational teaching of Buddhism is the method to see or recognize the problem, search the cause of problem, and apply the solution to the problem, and liberate yourself completely from the problem. So that's the main concept of the foundational teaching of Lord Buddha. So we can take the example of illness, like when we have a pain, or we can say symptoms of illness when it occurs in our body or mentally. So some people just ignore the pain by just taking a painkiller, and some people, they think the pain will be gone by itself and I will be fine again. But some people want to fix that health problem by going to a hospital and do health checkup and so on. So these are the these differences in the in the mindset of the people who they take the problem, how they take the problem as is the example, is the similar to the teaching of Four Noble Truths, which is the foundational teaching of Lord Buddha. So the first one, which is about understanding the suffering, right? So understanding the suffering is admitting that there is something wrong. There's something wrong, right? So so unless we admit or are aware of the suffering or pain, we can't fix the suffering. So the initial thing is that we have to accept that we need a help. When we accept that we need a help, then only we can go to the deep to find the cause of suffering or pain by questioning why are we suffering, right? Why we are suffering. So gradually, when we apply the medicine of antidote to eliminate the cause of suffering or pain, then ultimately we will be free from the illness completely. So the very first teaching of Buddha is based on this procedure. So the pain and suffering is universal, and the urge to get rid of the pain or problem is also universal. But the path of Buddhism has an extraordinary method that helps to recover from the pain. So additionally, Mahayana path is based on utilizing the loving and compassionate nature that is in us by default. So we use that kind of intrinsic nature to mitigate or to uproot the self-grasping. Self-grasping is the root of all the sufferings. The intensity of the suffering depends on the intensity of our self-grasping power. So the self-grasping manifests hope and fear in us in order to protect, in order to achieve more. So we manifest hope to achieve more, and we manifest fear to protect us, right? So this hope and fear brings forth the action of acceptance and rejection, along with the negative emotions such as disgust, anxiety, jealousy, doubt, greed, lust, possessiveness, and so on. Loving and kindness are the emotional characteristics that we have, and loving and kindness has this potential to trample our self-centered nature. We can imagine how selfless we can become when we have to deal with our loved ones, with our significant others, or when we have to deal with our family. So we prioritize them, right? So this happens because when we have this intense love and attachment towards them. So when we have this intense love towards them, then naturally we become like a little bit less selfish, or we can say selfless. Okay, so let's take another example when we have this kindness towards animals, right? So when we have that kindness, we can go to any extent to protect the animals. So that proves that we have the ability to extend our kindness, extend our loving nature and compassion. When we see the importance of others' life and needs too. So the loving and kindness is boundless, limitless, if we manifest it in a proper way. So this loving, the intrinsic nature of loving and kindness or compassionate nature that we have, all those are the things that we usually don't use it that much. We don't utilize it that much. So it's like kind of paralyzed, or you can say sleeping inside us, right? The emotions, those positive emotions are just sleeping inside us. So the thing is, we have to project it outside because we have those beautiful qualities inside us. So that is the main purpose of teachings of Mahayana, to unveil those kind of good characteristics inside us. So so that is the goal of one of the goal of Mahayana practice or Mahayana path. So Mahayana path also promotes the sense of connection by teaching how and why we all sentient beings are connected, and how we are connected as a family members to each other in many past lives. And it also teaches the sense of oneness, because the oneness is practiced in Mahayana by understanding the same goal, the one goal of all the sentient beings, and that is to be happy and to avoid the unfavorable things, situations. So this path also makes us realize self-potency by showing the Buddha nature that is always inside us, right? So this Mahayana and Hinayana practices are proactive coping that are done even before we encounter the suffering. It's same like learning martial arts to tackle with the danger we could face in advance. So the practices are not just a tool to fight against the suffering or pain, but it makes our turbulent mind a peaceful mind. It makes our mind a peaceful and calm mind if we practice it in a proper way. Okay, so love and compassion is a universal emotion. And Mahayana practices are focused on expanding the size of love and compassion that is limited to oneself and only to some people that we love. The truth of emptiness is scientifically mentioned in the atomic theory, right? But the practice of emptiness help us to eliminate the fixation towards the positive, or we can say negative perspective or objects. So this, even though we have a full idea that all the objects, or we can say the existence, is empty by nature, if we analyze it, even the scientists, they know it, they can even see it through their microscopic, on the microscopic level and so on. So they see and they understand the emptiness more than us. But then the thing is, the difference between the practitioner and the scientist is that scientists, they just want to explore, right? Just want to explore and find how this object is empty, how the object is formed and what it is made out of, right? So their interest is just limited to that. But then our practitioner is that we utilize whatever understanding we have gained through understanding the atomic theory or atomic level. So we utilize that to understand the truth of universe. And that help us to mitigate or uproot the level or intensity of self-grasping. So it's not about just understanding, or it's not about just studying, it's more than that. You have to go through it, and you have to use whatever small understanding or the deep understanding you have acquired through the studies. And it's about utilizing that in our daily life. And then only we will see the result of understanding the truth of emptiness. Okay, so the union of emptiness and compassion is the truth of indivisibility of emptiness and existence. So that understanding balances our perception, or you can say conception, and it helps us not to fall into the extremity of eternalism and nihilism. So that was the general elaboration description about the practices of Mahayana and Hinayana. But if we zoom in the practices of Buddhism, then the Four Noble Truths is the foundational teaching of Buddhism. But it is practiced through the four mind trainings that directs our mind towards the direction of Dharma. So Buddha Dharma now shows us the universal truth, and it unfolds the various paths to accord with our preferences, our faculties, our choices. So the practice of that path help us to amend our wrong deeds, wrong thoughts, and lead us to the temporary or ultimate liberation. The four mind training is done to understand the true characteristics of our universe and beings, or you can say habited or inhabited, to find the cause of existence and to liberate oneself by following that certain path that could stop the repetition of birth in this samsara. The first mind training shows the importance of human existence and difficulties of or rarity of finding the human body or human birth. The second mind training, it shows the truth of impermanence that warns us about the fragility of precious human body and phenomena. So the first training, it makes us realize how important we are, how important the human birth is. So then the second mind training, it shows that even though we have acquired the the important human body, but if we don't utilize it, then it's just very fragile thing. It can change anytime. It can go off anytime. So the second mind training is a reminder for us to do it now. Whatever you have this intention to do good things, just do it right now, because we have no guarantee of the time. So that is the message of the second training. And third mind training is about the law of cause and effect. That shows the power of our action. The action can be a good action or the bad action, right? So if we applicate the right action, then we will see the good consequences. But the thing is, the third mind training, it shows the power of any action, right? And the last mind training, the fourth one, shows the defect of samsara, from which we have to divert, from which we have to liberate ourselves. We are already submerged in the ocean of suffering. So it's about this fourth mind training. It shows what are the disadvantages of seeing the samsara as a source of happiness. Okay, so that's just a brief description about the four mind training. But let's start with the first one. So the motive of the first mind training is to generate the to cultivate the self-potency and self-efficacy, which is very important in practice, because there is no other agent than oneself who could lead us to the liberation. So we are our own leader. So the thing is, we have to see the potential in the leader itself. So once we don't have this self-potence or self-efficacy, we can't lead ourselves. So this training implants, the first mind training, implants the motivation in us to specify the view that we are our own creator. We are also the destroyers too. So we are our own savers too. So we, as the subject or observer, and the object is observed by us, our senses, or you can say 5 senses or 6 senses. Our senses observe the objects, and the feeling of like and dislike, it arises according to the interaction between the subject and object, right? So this interaction vividly proves that our mind is the predominant agent, because the interaction, it happens, but ultimately it is judged by our feeling, whether we like it, whether we like the object or not, whether we like the interaction or not. So the main judgment is done by our feelings, right? According to our feelings. So this shows that our mind is the predominant agent. The problem and the solution both dwells in our mind. If the problem, it occurs from our thought or mindset, our notion, then the solution also has to be inside us too. We can't find the solution from outside. The destruction and the healing both comes from our mind. The joy and sorrow both comes from our manifested from our mind, right? So our conception, it plays a very important crucial role in self-identification. So no matter if you achieve your goal or not, or no matter if your wishes are fulfilled or not, no matter if your life is messy, chaotic or not, but the main thing is the feeling, how you look at your life, how you take your achievement and failure as. So the main thing is the judgment or verdict. It comes from our mind, how happy you are and how much you are content with your life or not, how you are not satisfied with your life or not, and how you are happy with your life or not. So it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter about the achievement of materialistic thing or not, but it depends on how you feel now. Okay, so that's why the projection of self-confidence or self-insecure, both depends on how we conceive ourselves, right? So in our first mind training, the thing is we have to unveil, or we have to uncover the self-confidence in us, that we should have this certain determination that I can help myself. I can help myself. I can apply the path to fix my problem. So that is the thing that we need by that's the outcome of the first training, to have the full confidence to fix the problem and have the 100% self-confidence in one, that I can definitely fix the problem that's occurring in my life, right? So the self is a psychologically created identity of an individual upon the collection of 5 aggregates, the aggregates of body, feelings, formation, conception, and consciousnesses. So self-grasping is the mental factor that clings to the self as truly and independently existent. Self-grasping can grasp the identity of self in three ways, right? With love, with hatred, and with neutrality. For example, individuals could love themselves, individuals could hate themselves too, or could be neutral, right? So that's how we project those 3 different feelings from our self. So self-love is the self-admiration, admiration that encompasses self-worth, self-satisfaction, self-efficacy, and self-confidence. Self-love arises when we are satisfied with our evaluation of self-concept. On the contrary, when the self-hatred is a self-dejected emotions that encapsulates fear, guilt, disappointment, shame, and so on. So this self-hatred arises when we are not satisfied with our evaluation of our self-concept. The self-concept is overall thoughts and feelings from our own or others' perspective about our characteristics, our relationships, responsibilities, careers, and wishes, right? So we judge ourselves according to our self-concept. When we are satisfied with this evaluation, then we feel more satisfied, and we feel like we have achieved. But when we are not satisfied with the evaluation, or this evaluation, then we question ourselves, or we lose confidence in ourselves, which causes fear and conflict in us. So both the self-love and self-hatred arise from the evaluation of self-concept, right? So when our idea of perfect self-concept does not match with the existing self-concept, or our evaluation of self-concept, then the self-hatred and confusion arise. So in fact, our concept of perfect self shouldn't be based solely on the achievements of materialistic things, but the idea of perfect concept should be based on the achievement of the wisdom that can accept the reality of changing, that could adjust oneself with the unexpected changes that happens in our life, that can adapt to that kind of changes, and that can adapt or update with the time, and that has the ability to execute their virtues or right action, right? So actually the thing is, the perfect self concept is a structure by society. So at the end of the day, it's created by the people, right? Okay, so then the thing is, when we change the notion of a perfect self concept, then only we would be able to gain, or we will be able to gain the inner beauty that we have inside out, the inner potential that we have inside out, right? So instead of just judging the evaluate, or we can say the evaluating on the basis of accumulation of materialistic thing, we should focus more inside the focus more into the inside internal qualities that we gain by studying, or we can say we gain by practicing the path of Buddhism. Okay, so the first mind training also shows the difficulties of achieving the human body, the rarity of achieving the human body. So it requires a considerable amount of good karma, even to be born as a human, with freedom and advantages. So because humans have the freedom to speak, or we have the freedom of action, thought, and we have the reasoning power to distinguish between what is the benefit and what are the disadvantages, right? So more importantly, the thing is, humans have the ability to understand the meaning of Dharma, and humans have the capability to follow the path of Dharma, right? So that's why that is the first mind training. And the second mind training is the fact of impermanence, that shows the fragility of human body and the universe. Buddha said that every conditioned thing is impermanent. So in simple, the impermanence means a momentary that keeps on changing. Every entity that does exist has this nature of changing. The fact of impermanence illustrates the unpredictability of unpredictable change and uncertainty of outcome, and the unstable lifespan of beings and this universe, right? So the existence, it evolves, it deteriorates and destroys due to its natural process. So that's the natural process that happens. So Master Aryadeva stated that there are many causes of death, very few causes of survival or life. So even the few causes of life can become the cause of death. So no one and nothing in this world can evade or stop the natural process or evolution of this universe and its habitant. So not even the God or holy beings can stop that kind of this cycle of samsara, the process of samsara. So there are two kinds of changes, the gross and subtle changes. The gross changes is the changes that we can see, we can sense easily, such as the changes that occurs in front of our eyes, like changes of seasons and so on. But the subtle one is very difficult to notice, such as the small changes that happens inside our body, small changes in the collagen of skin, and all those are very subtle, right? The changes that happens in the subatomic level. So those are the two kinds of changes that we should acknowledge, right? When we study the impermanence, those are the two kinds of the changes that keeps on happening in our life. Okay, so now the question is, how do the understanding of impermanence could help us in our daily life? The changing, it happens. Then the question is how we are supposed to relate the understanding of changes with our life. Okay, so the motive of the studies of about the impermanence is that though we all are well acquainted with this transitory nature, even though we have that idea that everything keeps on changing, there's nothing like a forever, right? But our wishes for persistent and uninterrupted happiness blinds us to acknowledge that kind of changes. Even though it happens, it occurs in front of our eyes, we see, we hear it every day, every moment, that nothing lasts, everything changes around us, but still we have this intact kind of belief or intact mindset that whatever happiness I'm right now, I'm experiences, it should be uninterrupted by any situations, or it should be consistent, it should be persistent, right? That's how our mindset is. So that kind of robust perspective of permanence doesn't allow the idea of impermanence to enter inside our mind. So that kind of a perspective, it hinders us to understand the truth of emptiness, even though we know that nothing would last. So the state of impermanence is not the actual cause of suffering. The actual cause of suffering is not being able to accept the changes, not being able to accept the temporary nature of our joy, our happiness. So that is the main problem. So once we understand that it depends on, whatever the happiness or the joys that we encounter in our life, it's just a situational. It is interdependence things. So many things conditions together, and then the happiness it occurs, right? So once we have to once our cause, it depends on numerous causes, then it's likely to change. When we see the cause, it depends only on one certain condition, then there is more chances for us to have the happiness continuously. But when the cause of happiness, it happens because of gathering of so many conditions, then there is less chances for us to encounter with the happy continuously, or less chances to have a perfect life, because then we have to depend on so many things, right? So everything has to align together, have to happen in right place with right person. So it's like so that kind of situation is rare for us to encounter. So that shows the independence nature of this universe, right? Everything has to be together at the right time and with the right person or in a right way. Okay, so the having an awareness of impermanence in our life makes our life a little bit easier to accept the adversities that we might face in our life. And it helps us to accommodate ourselves with the unexpected changes that might happen in our life and around us. So this practice teaches us to see more importance in our present action than past or future action. Okay, now let's move to the third mind training, and that is about the principle of karma, or you can say the law of cause and effect. That shows the power of our action. It can be positive or negative action, but it has the intense power, can have a big outcome out of it. So there is no escaping from the karmic principle of cause and effect. So it's similar to how how the seed, you can say the bitter seed, or you can see the sour seed or sweet seed that you plant, and then you will when it grows and it produces the fruit according to the similar taste, right? So if you plant the sweet seed, then you will the outcome will be the sweet fruit. And if you plant the bitter one, then the ramification would be the bitter too. So so you will face the result according to what kind of the reason or what kind of cause you have implanted, right? Okay, so our happiness and agony is the result of our past and the present action. So that is the thing that we have to bear in our mind, and we should stop blaming people or blaming others, or you can say we can just make excuses of our past life. So that thing is present action. So we have to show it. We have to make changes through our present action instead of clinging to the past, or instead of blaming others or complaining about others, for the failure of our whatever attempt of any kind of attempt, right? So when we see the failure, we can't blame to our own karmas and others. So how do we accumulate this karma? So the question is that, and there are three kinds of practitioner: the practitioner, the fundamental scope of practitioner, and the medium faculty practitioner, and the supreme faculty practitioner. So the fundamental scope practitioner abides by the practice of 10 virtues, which teach the positive conduct, and it forbid the negative conduct in order to achieve the worldly happiness. And the medium faculty practitioner combines the practice of 10 virtues with the insight of individual selflessness in order to break free from this samsara, from this world. That is the medium faculty. And the supreme faculty practitioner practices sixth perfection with the absence of expectation, with the absence of expectation and the fear of losing, right? Which means with full detachment. to practice the sixth perfection with full detachment from the negative, or you can say afflictive emotions, and which leads to the achievement of enlightenment. So that is the practice of supreme faculties that practice six paramitas or perfection, perfection without any self-grasping, which is the selflessness, and it leads us to the result of enlightenment, So liberation, realization, enlightenment, accomplishment, all those are the different terms that we use in Buddhism, just to depict the awakened state of mind. An awakened mind means the mind that is in its original state, or its when it is in genuine nature of mind, which is free from any influences and conditions. So when our mind is awakened, then it means that our mind is free, our mind is liberated. So similarly, even in the secular world, the independence or freedom is considered very important. It's considered the most, considered the most demanding or the highest achievement in our life. When we say the self-independent, or when we introduce ourselves as I'm an independent person, those kind of thing, And so independence is considered even in secular world as a very big achievement in our life, which is why the enlightenment and liberation period of 18th century was the positive turning point of a revolution in our human history, right? So it is the most prominent gift to the descendants of our modern life. So because of now we have the freedom to think, the freedom to ask, opportunity to grow with our creativity, and opportunity to believe in self-potence. So liberation is important in both the religious and the secular world. So we I don't have to mention the importance, how important is the liberation. So we already know how important the freedom is, how important the liberation is. Okay, so the third mind training, which is based on the law of karma, based on the principle of cause and effect. When we do that training, it helps us to realize that through our own action we can liberate ourselves. We don't have to ask for mercy or someone to, we don't have to please someone or ask for a mercy for someone to take us to a certain kind of a happy or eternal happiness, eternal happiness, to meet an eternal happiness. Or we don't have to plead someone to take us to the somewhere, we can say a happy land, or you can say where the happiness occur, or where the eternal happiness happens, right? So this third mind training, it shows that we can liberate ourselves. We can take the example of the liberation period, where those people, the good thinkers, how they have worked hard to liberate ourselves. So now we are enjoying the fruit of that. So it's same like if it can be done in secular life, why it can't be done in religious life too? So we have that full power, and it is shown in the third mind training that our action, which is known as karma, is important, and whatever result we face, it depends on what kind of seed we sow, right? We sow in our daily life activities. Okay, so now the last fourth mind training is done by apprehending on the defect of samsara. So reflecting on the flaws of samsara is possible only we know that we are suffering. So even to reflect on the flaws of samsara, some people, they don't see the flaws of samsara. And some people, they overlook the miseries of samsara. Some people, they see, but they can't accept that they are suffering. Some people, they ignore purposely. They think that it will be going to be fine after a course of time. I will be healed with time. And some people, they, with the ego that we have, they are not willing to accept that I need help. I need to change my lifestyle or change my activities. So because these days, right, and some people like these days even don't understand that they are suffering, right? So they have different definition of suffering for themselves, and until they reach to that level of suffering, they are not willing to accept that they are suffering. So the real definition of suffering is not getting whatever we want, right? Not getting what we wish for, and we encounter with the situation that we don't wish for, encountering with the situation that we avoid. And the cause of all the suffering is the desire to achieve more, the frustration of not achieving what you desire, and the ignorance that doesn't know that those three afflictive emotions are the root of all the sufferings, right? So those are the three main fundamental negative emotions: the anger, or you can say frustration, the desire to achieve more, the frustration of not achieving, and the ignorance is that when we don't achieve as we wish for, and when we encounter the unfavorable situation that we don't wish, right? So when we have to battle between the desire and the frustration, then it distorts the peace of our life and mind. So not understanding the harmful effect of this battle is the ignorance. So those are the three afflictive emotions, which are the root of all the sufferings. So besides the major suffering, such as the suffering of aging, suffering of disease, the suffering of birth, suffering of death, there are also four secondary sufferings as well that I have already mentioned. The additional one is not encountering with the people that you love, but only encountering with the people that you hate, that you don't want to see. And plus, not achieving what we wish for, and we encounter the situation that we don't wish for. So those are the four secondary sufferings, right? So for major sufferings are aging, birth, death, and the disease or ailment. So in conclusion, the suffering and happiness do not dwell in the object itself, or it doesn't dwell in the external, in the external object or circumstances, but it dwells inside us, and it dwells in our interpretation, how we interpret. So that's why the practice of Buddhism is a proactive coping to tame our mind, to train how we interpret the things and how we conceive and how we perceive the interaction between subjects and objects. So that's why keeping a positive mind will keep our life and action positive.